G'day, g'day. It's Nick here and welcome to Wicked Wildlife. And this guy here, his name is Alby. And he's a boobook owl. Stick around, guys, because we're talking about Australia's smallest owl. Pretty dangerous. For more Wicked Wildlife encounters, this is Tully, our resident scrub member to our wild family here. Australia. Have a look. We've got two different I hope you have a great one. Take care. So as I said, Alby here is what we call a boobook owl. And these guys are just one of 11 species of owls found across Australia, this guy being the smallest. As well as being the smallest, these guys are found over pretty much the entire continent, everywhere from all over mainland Australia, parts of Tasmania, parts of New Zealand, even Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. But throughout that distribution, there's actually several different subspecies, and we're actually finding more as time goes on. So, as you'd hopefully expect with any owl, the boobook is of course a nocturnal predator. Rather than actively flying and searching for prey, these guys seem to like perching themselves up somewhere nice and high, top of a nice dead stag tree or fence, anything like that where he can survey his surroundings, and he'll basically hit anything that moves that he's big enough to subdue. A large part of their diet can be anything from insects to rats, mice, but these guys have been recorded eating things up to the size of ringtail possums, which if you see the size of him is no mean feat. It'd be a pretty big challenge for him, but these guys are pretty voracious little predators. As with a lot of species with such a wide distribution, these guys aren't at any immediate danger of extinction. They're sort of protected just by how many of them there is. However, a couple of the individual subspecies have been in trouble, and two of them today are actually extinct. The Lord Howe Island boobook has been extinct for quite a while, and unfortunately they were probably driven to extinction after human beings arrived to Lord Howe Island and brought other boobooks from the mainland, as well as barn owls and marked owls, to Lord Howe Island to basically eradicate rats. Unfortunately, those owls are all bigger than the Lord Howe Island boobook, and today they're one of many extinct birds that we used to have here in Australia. The other subspecies of boobook that's now extinct is the Norfolk Island boobook. Much the same, these guys disappeared because of competition, but in this case it was competition for nesting hollows with introduced honeybees and the crimson rosella, a bird that we brought from mainland Australia out to Norfolk Island. When this was combined with deforestation, cutting down timber for the timber industry, there wasn't enough hollows to go around, and these guys start to disappear quickly. When there was only one female left, people decided to bring a male from New Zealand and reintroduce them. And while there is still some out there today, these are actually two different species, so we consider them extinct because all the ones that are left are now a hybrid between the New Zealand subspecies of boobooks and the one boobook that used to live there that was left behind. Unfortunately, as is the case with a lot of animals that eat rodents and insects for a living, one of their major issues is the use of poisons, baits. Now, these baits might not necessarily kill an animal outright. The amount that it takes to kill a mouse is not going to be the same amount that it generally takes to kill an owl or a frogmouth or anything else that's eating these animals. But a lot of these baits actually can build up in an animal system over time. Often these poisons build up in the fat reserves of animals, and it's not until the following winter, when there's maybe less food around, that the animal draws on these fat reserves and suddenly the toxins are released into their bloodstream. And that can be the end of these guys, which is a real shame. I understand that people want to get rid of rats and mice. They're kind of a pest. We introduce them here and they're not really good for a lot of our native wildlife. But this guy here is our native pest control. When we try to get rid of rats and mice our own way, which doesn't seem to be working, we're getting rid of nature's way of doing it. So if you want to have owls around your place, the best thing you can do is to stop using rats and mice baits. Encourage your neighbours to do the same, because these guys have pretty big territories. Make sure you preserve any native habitat, because these guys can't live somewhere unless there's somewhere to go during the day. So those big dead trees that are usually the first thing we get rid of, that's the most important tree in the forest for this guy. But if we do these things, if we preserve his habitat, we go easy on the poisons and things like this, hopefully we're only ever going to lose those two, and the rest of these boobook subspecies will be here for many, many millennia to come. The reason I think it's so important we look after these guys is this guy is absolutely incredible. He's a tiny little raptor and I think he's amazing. And if you want to know more about him, this guy's actually an educational ambassador. I'm not lucky enough to own this guy. He belongs to a friend of mine who runs a display just like we do. Their name's Animals Anonymous, and if you want to find out more about him, check him out on Facebook. But between now and then, please hit that subscribe button or like us on Facebook wherever you're watching, and have a good one and take care.